Had to speed up some parts near the end or else the vid would be too long. Climb took him 183 games with a win rate of 64%. Dude, I'm like 200 games into jungle. Holy moly, I'm 230 games in. Keep in mind this was a Riot account that started in D1 MMR. Surprisingly, overall enjoyed the role, felt he always had something to do, impact on the game. You are in every fight and team needs ADC to win game objectives. Support is the most OP role and ADC is the role with the most influence on support, unlike solo lanes. That is so funny. That is so funny that he said that. Makes a lot of mirror comparisons to top lane. Is an island, nobody cares about it, never can interact with the map, while ADC is the opposite. Yes, that's true. ADC directly contributes to almost everything that happens that is important to winning. It's fun to attack fast, although it is very punishing. ADCs need to learn to take risks and push limits by learning to trade, manage waves, and play the map better to carry more. Yeah, that's true for every role. That's true for every role. There's not a lot of AD carries in high elo that just play safe and just never ever take risks. So, pros. Double combat sums feels powerful. Yep. Yeah, that's true. 95% of games focus on bot lane. Vastly different from top, where he said he felt like a passenger. More attention on lane equals more sway on the outcome of the game. Big, he says. So this is a double-edged sword. This is a pro, but it's also a con. Because both teams are very focused on bot lane, there is some games where, and I'm not saying this isn't true for other roles, but it happens most bot lane out of any other role. There's a lot of games where you are in a completely fucked situation. You got dove, you got like ganked on repeat, roamed on repeat by mid. There's a lot of games where the focus is on you and you're a victim, but you never ever get a lifeline. And that feels very bad. Now, of course, that happens in every role. Of course, that happens in every role. But I think it's way more impactful and feels worse when it's a bot gap and that's happening. As in, like, the enemy bot lane is taking over the game from that point. Bot lane wins lane. Team much more likely to win the game compared to other lanes. Yes. Supports are giga broken if you win the lane. Yes, they are. 100% free roams to win every lane and jungle. True. Builds are strong. Free items, cheap first spike, sightstone. As ADC, you have the biggest impact on whether support gets ahead. ADC unlocks support and vice versa. Good for, yeah, farm easily. Yeah, pretty much. He played Yunara, right? But some ADCs don't farm so easily, and that's why they suck. That's why they have terrible win rates. So I'd be like Kalista, Ezreal, missing some Vayne. Some ADCs farm really badly, and that's why part of the reason why they usually aren't that strong in solo queue. Tons of options to proceed and very easy to accomplish. Plates, wave control, dives, etc. Drakes. Grubs is actually a bot lane objective. Winning bot gets both Drake and Grubs. I'd say that's a coin flip in solo queue. In pro play, bot lane winning does get you Grubs. In solo queue, it's a lot of these games that I'm playing don't involve either support for Grubs, and that might change when you get to Challenger. When I get to Challenger. If I get to Challenger. Before I uninstall. But yeah. Drake for sure, though. Most... Whoa. Don't time that guy out for asking my only job was to. That's in my title. Justice for Eppelsec. Most damage to neutrals and turrets. Needs ADC to take every objective. Yep. ADC gets targeted the most, equals most chances to fight and bait enemies, draw attention, spells, overcommit, etc. That's what I love about AD carry right here. I love being the guy that the enemy team needs to kill and making it impossible to kill me or baiting them to die because they're so tunneled on killing me. I love that. I think it's like super satisfying to play this way, kite people out, bait them, you know, barrier bait, flash out, last second, or just turn around with big damage. I love that. That's like part of my biggest reasons for loving the role. Didn't have many games where he felt like he couldn't play or do anything or have any impact. Now that is shocking. That is shocking. There are a lot of games where your support is getting gapped to the point of you don't really have much impact and you're kind of just waiting. Guaranteed late game scaling feels good. True. ADC swaps to mid after laning, which has big map influence. Roam to side lane, objective, invade with mid prio. True. Cons. In high elo, autofills / bad supports equals bad game. To put it lightly, yes. Even when getting owned, supports can roam to flip the game, and didn't feel like he was getting punished for 1v2 until high GM equals support wins top and ADC up in levels bot. Field support is unfair to play with. Lanes are boring, lots of boring matchups, and passive gameplay. Yep. Observations about ADC players. Passive, 0 risk versus squeezing advantages. Weak skill set in wave control, push, freeze, pull. Weak macro, rotating versus farming. Weak at laning phase, trading over minions, all-in timing, playing around jungle knowledge. Too many lanes just ping-pong waves back and forth when much more could be done. Not trying to flame, just his observations. True. But I wonder if he would feel that same way about mid if he played it in Masters and GM as well. I felt that when I played mid, to be honest. I kind of felt that way about mid, that a lot of these mid players have no idea what the fuck is going on, and they don't understand any of the basics. I think part of it is the fact that we are like former pro players, long-time pro players that are just playing in a relatively low rank compared to normal. And so, of course, we're going to be knowledge gapping people in laning phase. So, yeah. I agree with him. Like, it's not a flame. It's just your observations as you're climbing. I'm not surprised, I guess, that he had that feeling. What's the queue time? 21 minutes. Advice for ADC. Limit test more to carry since the lane is the most volatile and most resilient to jungle. Double wards side lane 2v3 better odds than 1v2. Need to improve laning skills. Unchecked Sona mains in NA. Yep. Learn to trade over every minion will give you an edge. Slow push, freezing, pull wave not used nearly enough. Stop AFK ping-ponging waves. Learn to rotate to different parts of the map. Don't always need to path to own turret and lane. Don't just clear the wave mid and sit there. You can look for plays. Stop whining. Saw a lot of ADCs give up too easily because of support, jungle, etc. Even though the game is easily winnable, doesn't feel like most games are bad at all. Random other stuff. Playing versus mages is AFK uninteractive, but not hard to win against if you know how. Field champ picks don't have a huge impact, although can slow a climb. Likes attacking fast. Kraken champs can go pew pew. Yeah, I've been saying this year that I think there's a lot of crying around the role, but ADC feels very strong. Every single role has some downsides that you have to play around, but I think ADC gets probably a disproportionate number of crybabies, even though the role is honestly pretty strong and pretty easy. It's a pretty easy role. A lot of the decisions that you make as AD, you can follow a flowchart, and you just really kind of need to focus on execution and the details, which, depending on the kind of player that you are, maybe that's not really your strengths. You don't really like nitpicking and getting all these little small things down and lined up together to have that perfect game. But yeah, I like playing AD carry, obviously. Done it for a long time now, and I think the role's in a good spot. So, all in all, I think he had a pretty fair assessment of AD carry. It's funny what he said about enchanters. Well, earlier I was saying the same shit about enchanters.